Before you give up on her, let me tell you something that might sting a little. Most men don't realize that women rarely just walk away. It usually happens after a long period of testing, waiting, and quietly watching how you handle the ups and downs. And here's the truth, a lot of men don't like to hear. Women pay closer attention to your emotional responses than to what you say or even what you do. See, a woman will test you in ways she doesn't even consciously understand. She'll create tension, she'll pull back, she'll act cold, not always because she's lost interest, but because she's trying to feel whether you're the kind of man who can handle pressure without losing himself. That's where Stoicism comes in. Now, when I say Stoicism, I don't mean you have to be some emotionless robot. That's not attractive either. What I mean is, can you stay centered? Can you remain calm and grounded when things aren't going your way? Because when a woman feels like you can't, she starts questioning your strength as a man. And once that doubt sets in, attraction slips. I know a lot of men think, why should I keep holding on if she's acting distant or difficult? But from a female perspective, let me give you a little insight. Sometimes her coldness isn't rejection. It's a test of your composure. She wants to feel your steadiness, your self-control, your ability to stay rooted no matter what storm is happening between you. And here's the kicker. Most men quit too early. They give up the moment a woman challenges them, and that's exactly when she was about to lean in closer. So before you decide she's not worth it, or before you let frustration make you walk away, you need to understand what's really happening in her mind. This video is about that truth. I'm going to pull back the curtain and show you how women actually think when you show Stoicism, and how it changes everything about whether she respects you, desires you, or lets you go for good. 1. She's not cold. She's testing your center. When a woman pulls back, goes quiet, or starts acting distant, it's not always because she's lost interest. A lot of the time, she's testing. Not in some evil, manipulative way, but because deep down, she needs to know if you're really the kind of man she can trust with her emotions. Think about it from her side for a second. A woman lives in a world where emotions run high. She's wired to feel deeply, to notice tiny shifts in energy, to sense when something is off. And because of that, she's naturally drawn to a man who can balance that energy out. If you fall apart the moment she's moody, if you lash out when she withdraws, or if you start chasing when she creates space, you've just shown her you can't be her anchor. I'll give it to you straight. The moments when she's acting cold are actually the moments that determine everything. That's when she's watching you most closely. She wants to see, do you stay calm? Do you keep moving with purpose in your life? Or do you collapse because she's not showering you with constant affection? Picture this. She doesn't text you back right away. Maybe hours go by, maybe even a day. Most guys panic. They double text, they call, they start accusing her of losing interest. And in that moment, she's not even focused on the fact she didn't respond. She's focused on how you responded. Did you hold your ground, or did you fall into insecurity? Here's the part men often don't get. Her pulling back is less about pushing you away and more about pulling information from you. She's asking, without words, can you handle me at my most uncertain, my most unpredictable, my most emotional? Because if you can't, then she feels she can't fully trust you. And that's when attraction truly dies. What keeps her invested is not you fixing her mood or you proving yourself with constant reassurance. What keeps her invested is your ability to stay centered while she moves through her storm. 2. Why your reactions matter more than your words. Here's something most men underestimate. Women don't just listen to what you say, they feel how you react. Your words might sound strong, but if your energy, your tone, or your body language shows frustration, insecurity, or neediness, she will sense it instantly. And when that happens, it doesn't matter what you said. Your reaction already told her the truth. Men often believe that women want constant explanations, long talks, or endless reassurances. But what women actually respond to is your consistency when things aren't going your way. If you can stay calm when she's distant, if you can stay grounded when she's emotional, if you can stay collected when things don't look secure, that's when she sees your strength. Think about it. If you tell her, "I'm fine," but then you sulk, withdraw, or start acting passive-aggressive, she knows you're not fine. If you say, "I trust you," but you blow up the second she doesn't reply quickly enough, then your actions told her the opposite. Women pick up on these signals way faster than men realize. This is why Stoicism matters. It's not about suppressing your emotions or pretending you don't care. It's about showing her that your emotions don't control you, that no matter what's happening, you're steady. Because when she feels that steadiness, she feels safe around you. And when she feels safe, attraction grows. Here's where most men go wrong. They react to her behavior instead of responding with composure. She pulls back, and he instantly chases. She gets moody, and he tries to over-explain or defend himself. She tests, and he snaps under the pressure. All of those reactions tell her one thing. This man is controlled by me, not by himself. And the moment she senses that, she loses respect. What makes a woman lean in is when you don't let her behavior shake you. When she's hot and cold, but you don't flinch. When she goes silent, but you don't blow up her phone. When she challenges you, and instead of fighting back, you stand firm with quiet confidence. That's the language women understand. 3. The hidden power of calm masculinity. Here's the truth a lot of men don't hear. Women are not attracted to chaos in a man. We might be drawn to excitement, to passion, even to intensity. But deep down, what we truly crave is a man whose presence calms our storm. That calmness is what makes us feel safe, respected, and willing to open ourselves fully. And that's exactly where Stoicism becomes powerful. When you stay calm in the face of our unpredictability, you show us something that words can't express: strength. Not the loud, aggressive kind of strength, but the quiet, grounded kind that says, "I don't need to control you. I don't need to chase you. I'm secure enough in myself to let things play out." That's the kind of energy women lean into. Now you need to understand this. A woman feels her emotions like waves. Some days she's warm and affectionate. Other days she's distant or moody. That fluctuation is part of who we are, and it doesn't always mean something is wrong. But here's the catch. If every shift in our mood makes you lose your balance, we stop trusting you. Because if you can't remain steady with us, how could you ever remain steady in life's bigger storms? Calm masculinity isn't about being silent or cold. It's about holding space without collapsing. It's about not being reactive. When a woman senses that you don't rise and fall with her moods, she feels something almost primal. She feels protected. Not in the physical sense, but emotionally. She knows she can rely on you. When you bring calm masculinity into those moments, you flip the entire dynamic. Instead of her feeling like she has to control or lead, she naturally relaxes into your presence. Instead of pulling away further, she feels drawn back in because she trusts your stability. And instead of questioning your strength, she respects it more. 4. When silence speaks louder than chasing. One of the biggest mistakes men make when a woman pulls away is believing they have to fill the silence. They think if she's quiet, they need to talk more. If she's distant, they need to reach out more. If she's withdrawing, they need to convince her to stay. But here's the reality. Chasing only proves her doubts. Silence, on the other hand, can speak louder than anything you say. From a woman's perspective, silence isn't just about not talking. It's about showing that you don't need constant reassurance, that you're comfortable with space, and that you trust yourself enough not to panic. When a man reacts to a woman's pullback by staying composed and not rushing in to close the gap, it creates an energy shift. Suddenly, she's the one who has to reflect. She starts thinking, why isn't he chasing me? Why isn't he breaking? And that thought alone makes her reconsider. Women are emotional, yes, but we're also intuitive. We pay attention to the energy of a man more than the words he speaks. When you chase, your energy says, I'm scared of losing you. I need you to feel okay about myself. That kind of energy isn't attractive. It feels weak. But when you remain calm and let silence do the talking, your energy says, I'm not controlled by you. I'm grounded in who I am, no matter what you do. And that energy pulls us in, even when we're trying to pull away. Here's what most men don't realize. A woman notices everything you do in those moments of silence. If you don't text right away, she wonders why. If you don't react to her coldness, she questions her assumptions. If you stay calm, instead of over-explaining, she feels the weight of your presence even more. It's not the words that matter. It's the discipline to let silence reveal your strength. Of course, silence doesn't mean ignoring her forever or playing games. It means you don't rush to erase discomfort. You allow space for her to feel the loss of your attention. You let her see that you're not shaken. That's where Stoicism comes alive, in the restraint to not overreact, in the patience to let her come to you. 5. How women respect. Men who don't flinch. Respect is everything in attraction. Once a woman loses respect for you, it's almost impossible to get it back. And one of the fastest ways men lose respect is by flinching under pressure, showing that they can't handle discomfort, rejection, or emotional tension. What keeps a woman locked into you isn't that you never argue or that you always make her happy. It's that when things get shaky, you don't collapse. Imagine this. She tells you she needs space. Maybe she's overwhelmed, maybe she's frustrated, or maybe she just doesn't know how she feels. Most men panic at those words. They beg, they explain, they promise to change. In her eyes, every one of those reactions proves that she holds the power. And when she feels that power imbalance, her respect for you fades. Now picture a different response. She says she needs space, and you give it to her without argument. You don't beg, you don't chase, you don't spiral into desperation. You simply nod, stay calm, and carry on with your life. You don't flinch. That moment tells her more about your strength than anything you could say. Because now she sees a man who doesn't fall apart when she pulls away. She sees a man who can stand tall even when things aren't going his way. Here's the thing. Women notice the smallest cracks in your composure. If you say you're fine but act insecure, she sees it. If you pretend you're calm but your behavior screams panic, she feels it. You can't fake steadiness. You have to actually develop it. And once you do, she'll respect you in a way most men will never experience. 6. Why Stoicism creates emotional safety. Here's a truth most men don't realize. Women are not just looking for attraction, they're looking for emotional safety. Not safety in the sense of you protecting her from the world physically, though that matters too, but safety in the sense that she can be herself around you without fearing you'll collapse under her emotions. And nothing creates that safety more than Stoicism. When you're stoic, you show her that her highs and lows don't throw you off balance. She can be moody, emotional, distant, or even a little chaotic, and you don't get pulled into her storm. That stability is what allows her to relax. Because when a woman doesn't feel safe emotionally, she either pulls away or she takes control. Both kill attraction. Think about it. If every time she gets upset, you explode back, she feels like she can't depend on you. If every time she withdraws, you chase desperately, she feels smothered instead of understood. But when you hold steady, when you stay calm, listen, and don't overreact, she starts to feel something rare. She feels safe to lean into you because she knows you're not easily shaken. This is one of the biggest secrets about female psychology. Women don't expect you to fix their emotions. They don't expect you to solve every problem. What they want is to know that you won't judge them or lose yourself when they're at their most vulnerable. Stoicism gives them that reassurance. It shows her, I can trust this man with my rawest self because he won't use it against me or crumble because of it. And here's the twist. When a woman feels emotionally safe, she actually softens. The moodiness decreases, the tension drops, and she becomes more affectionate. Why? Because she no longer feels like she has to test or push you. She can finally let go of control because she sees you already have it. Men often think that Stoicism is about shutting down emotions, but it's the opposite. It's about allowing emotions to exist without being controlled by them. Your calm doesn't suppress her feelings. It gives her space to feel them fully, without fear that it will damage the relationship. That's why Stoicism is so magnetic. It communicates strength, patience, and trust all at once. 7. The hard truth. If you break, she walks. Here's the blunt truth most men need to hear. Women don't stay with men they can't respect. And nothing makes a woman lose respect faster than watching a man break down every time things don't go his way. It's harsh, but it's real. If you crumble under pressure, she will eventually walk. You have to understand something about women. We're drawn to strength. Not fake bravado, not arrogance, not the loud, I'm a tough guy act. Real strength. And real strength shows when life gets uncomfortable. When she's cold, when she challenges you, when she tests you, when she's unsure. That's when your true character comes out. If every single time you collapse into anger, panic, or begging, you've shown her that she cannot lean on you. And here's where men get it twisted. You think your vulnerability in those moments is endearing, that it will make her feel closer to you. But here's what you don't realize. Your vulnerability as a man hits differently than hers. When she opens up emotionally, it deepens connection. When you break down under her pressure, it weakens attraction. Why? Because in her mind, if you can't handle her, how could you ever handle the world? This doesn't mean you can't show emotion. Women love when a man is real. But there's a difference between being open and being unstable. If your emotions constantly control you, if you make her responsible for your happiness, or if you lean on her like she's your emotional crutch, she'll feel burdened, not bonded. And no woman wants to carry that weight forever. The men who keep women's respect are the ones who don't flinch. They can acknowledge difficulty, admit when something bothers them, but still remain steady. They don't beg for reassurance. They don't overreact when things get tense. They don't let fear dictate their behavior. They show up as men who can hold themselves together, no matter what. Here's the controversial truth. Women don't leave men because they fall out of love. They leave because they fall out of respect. And respect dies the moment she sees that you can't hold yourself together when things get difficult. Attraction isn't about how much you chase, how much you explain, or how hard you try to convince her. It's about the energy you carry. If your energy is calm, steady, and unshaken, she'll feel it. If it's desperate, weak, or chaotic, she'll feel that too. This is why Stoicism matters. It's not about ignoring her or pretending not to care. It's about showing that you're grounded in who you are, no matter how she behaves. Women test, women pull back, women challenge, not because they're cruel, but because they need to know if you're really the kind of man they can trust. And if you fail those tests, she won't tell you outright. She'll just slowly lose the attraction she once had. So before you give up on her, ask yourself this: are you really losing her, or are you losing your composure? Because the truth is, most women don't want to walk away. They just can't stay with a man who can't hold his ground. I want to hear from you. Have you ever noticed how your reaction to her distance changed the way she treated you? Drop your experience in the comments. I'll be reading them and I'll respond. Let's get real about this together.